suicide watch protocol.
I understand that, sir. I need to move on because I do have calendar this afternoon, but I want to have Detective Hibbler come to the stand.
Your
Hibbler.
Honor.
Deputy, what did I say? Detective, did I give you a promotion? Sorry. All right. He's going to come on up to the witness stand. I'm going to swear him in, and we'll go from there.
For the record, may I respectfully object to your ruling, Your Honor?
It's noted for the record. All right. Madam Clerk, swear him in, please.
For the record, may I respectfully request a legal reconsideration
All right,
of your
Mr.
ruling,
Brooks,
Your
I'm going
Honor?
to have to mute you because I need to keep going, and I can't have this disruption. Go ahead. Raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you, sir. Have a seat. I'll let you put your name on the record so I don't get that wrong. And so go ahead. Please state and spell your first and last names.
First name Nicholas, Nicholas. Last name Kibler, Kibler.
All right, thank you. And you are employed in what capacity with the Sheriff's Department?
I'm a deputy for the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department.
I don't think so. We don't have a DVD. All right, sir, were you assigned to the trial of Dorow Brooks?
I was.
And can you tell us in what capacity?
My capacity was, specifically, my responsibility was Daryl Brooks, along with Deputy Stengelson.
And were you in court at the start of the trial on October 3rd?
I was.
And did you come into court or work the court trial every day that we were in session?
I did.
And can you, were you at all in charge of the restraints? Let me ask you this way. Do you have knowledge of the restraints that were utilized on Mr. Brooks throughout this trial? Can you describe those, please?
It's a soft restraint that we used. It was not any type of electronic control device. It was just a soft restraint that we applied to Mr. Brooks prior to coming into court every day.
And would that be a restraint system that was on his legs or something else?
It was around his ankles.
All right. Throughout the trial, the tables in this courtroom had black table skirts. Do you remember seeing those?
I do.
And did that hide from view in any way the use of the restraints from the jury?
It did.
And were the restraints also attached to the table in some fashion?
They were attached to the table by a tether.
At any point in time, were there any other restraints utilized in the courtroom?
There was not.
At any point in time, were there any type of electronic or stun device placed on Mr. Brooks?
There was not.
Anything you would want to add to the record regarding the restraints that were used in this case, sir?
Not at this time.
State, have any questions?
Just briefly, Your Honor. Sir, you indicated that the restraints were connected to the table through a tether, is that correct?
Correct, and then we would secure them with like a padlock.
And how
on the
long was that
restraint.
tether?
The tether that was in here was 4 feet.
So Mr. Brooks could stand up?
Correct.
He could walk to his left briefly and walk to his right, is that correct?
That's correct.
And that was the same rule that the state had, that we had to stand up and use our table to question witnesses. That was the same rule that applied to Mr. Brooks?
Correct.
Okay, nothing further.
Mr. Brooks, you're unmuted. Do you have any questions regarding the restraint system as testified to by Deputy Kibler?
Yes, I do. And Your Honor, you can't practice law from the bench.
Your question, sir?
So none of your fellow deputies told me that it was a shock device when I asked what was being placed on my ankles at the start of this trial?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that you're aware of? Do you know for sure that I was told that they were a shock device?
I don't believe that's the truth. I believe every time you had those devices put on, I was in there, and it was either myself or Deputy Stengelson putting them on, and I did not tell you that, nor did I ever hear Deputy Stengelson tell you that they were an electronic device.
So you were here every single day for every single moment of the trial?
Correct.
And you never heard any deputy tell me that they were, matter of fact, let me back up. Do you recall me asking what was being placed on my ankles?
That I don't. If you did, we would have told you it was just an ankle restraint.
And you said that it was an ankle restraint. Did it have any metal parts?
Yes.
And what are those metal parts?
Metal part is where a strap went through and the locking device.
And what are those, particularly, let's say, if a defendant in a trial attempts to, let's say, attack someone, what would be the purpose of those ankle restraints?
The restraints we had on you would limit your movement, so if you did try to do anything, we would have had enough time to control you.
And you state that, well, the prosecutors stated that the same rules were in effect for the defendant as the prosecution, but were they not allowed to put up exhibits to go to the front of the courtroom and put up exhibits?
They might have a few times, but...
The record will reflect it was one time in the presence of the jury, and after that, I called them on it and said that would not happen. And then after that, it was only with the permission of the court and then outside the presence of the jury.
I don't believe that, Your Honor, you can practice law from the bench and answer the question that was asked to the...
Mr. Brooks, I'm in charge of the record, not you, and the record's going to
I
be
didn't say I was-
accurate.
I didn't say, well, it's not accurate. You're practicing law from the bench.
All right, Mr. Brooks, do you have any other questions for this
Yes,
witness?
I do. Yes, I do.
It has
Before
to be
you start.
about the restraint system. Please
Okay,
continue.
and was I allowed to approach the bench and put up exhibits at any time during this trial?
You were not.
And so, how is it that the prosecution was able to do something that I was not able to do?
That's not for me to answer.
It's because of the shock device that was put on my ankles, correct?
There was no shock device on your ankle, sir.
I was told that it was. And you said that you don't recall hearing that being told to me, correct?
No, it was not told to you by me.
Yeah, by you, but you also said, that's the point that I'm getting at. I'm asking the question. You said that it wasn't told to me by you. I never asked you, correct?
You never asked me, but I also did not ever hear Deputy Stanielson tell you that they were a shock
I
device.
never asked you. I never asked you, yes or no?
No, you did not.
So do you know for sure if I ever asked any other deputies?
Well, considering I was in there when the restraints were being placed on you, I did not ever hear anybody while I was inside the bullpen while they were putting restraints on you.
So it'd be fair to say that you don't know for sure if I ever asked what the device was that was being placed on my ankles?
No, I can't be for sure.
So how do you know I didn't ask?
You don't have to answer that. That's argumentative.
I mean,
All right, the record's been
Okay.
made. Mr. Brooks, I'm cutting off the questioning. I'm just muting him for a moment. The record's been made. Deputy, you may step down. Mr. Brooks, if you have additional information that you want to provide to the court, I'd ask that you do so in writing, and you provide the identity of any and all individuals you claim provided you with information that you were in a shock restraint. But I'll make a finding based upon the testimony of Deputy Kibler and also my knowledge of being in the courtroom every day and seeing Mr. Brooks being attached, meaning they would secure him to the table, they would unsecure him when he needed to move and other things. I'll make a finding that the soft restraint system was what was utilized, and at no time was he ever in a shock type of device.